Question number 2, Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is also to the Minister of Finance. What changes is the government making to improve KiwiSaver and make it more sustainable?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, as the Prime Minister confirmed yesterday, the budget will include a package of measures aimed at ensuring KiwiSaver is sustainable into the future, reducing the need for extra borrowing and contributing to national savings. In addition to reducing the amount provided through the member tax credit, more will go into KiwiSaver from both individuals and employers, and the $1,000 kickstart payment for new members will remain as it is.
Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Supplementary question to the Minister. What role will KiwiSaver play in the future?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, the first source of retirement income for all New Zealanders will remain New Zealand superannuation, which remains unchanged. KiwiSaver is an important supplement. It has 1.7 million members, growing by 20,000 a month. Projections show that with the changes that the government is intending to make, total KiwiSaver funds will grow to $25 billion by 2015 and almost $60 billion by 2021.
Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
A further supplementary to the Honourable Minister. How will these changes lift national savings?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, it's important to understand that national savings isn't the same as retirement savings. National savings is the sum of private savings in KiwiSaver, but of course through housing, investment in business and so on, and government savings. So far, just over half of all KiwiSaver balances have been contributed by the government, which is now in effect borrowing from abroad to make those contributions. As the Prime Minister has said, borrowing from one bank to deposit in another is not saving, and it's not what Kiwis do.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, to the Minister, does he accept that the changes he is proposing to make to KiwiSaver will amount to an extra $10 a week tax increase for 1.7 million KiwiSavers, or does he think that they should take refuge in the New Zealand superannuation fund that he has just refused to pre-fund for a decade?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, Kiwis have the security of national superannuation for their retirement. And with respect to the New Zealand Superannuation Fund and KiwiSaver, the government has made decisions that reflect the circumstances that we find ourselves in, and that is with a record $16 to $17 billion deficit, which has been the price of supporting this economy through the recession and facing the costs of rebuilding Christchurch. And taken as a whole, with changes to KiwiSaver and reductions in the deficit, will put the whole New Zealand economy on a stronger footing without affecting people's retirement savings significantly.
Peseta Sam Lotu-Iiga.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Deputy Prime Minister. Will the intended changes to KiwiSaver be enduring over time?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, I believe that the intended savings will be enduring over time, partly because the Labor Party has indicated through its leader that it won't reverse the changes that the government makes. And that is a pretty good vote of confidence in changes which they haven't heard all the details about yet. No sensible future government is going to want to borrow to subsidise private savings.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker, referring to the Minister's previous answer, how much of the $16 billion deficit he's forecasting for this year's budget is driven by the $23 billion of tax cuts that he's handed out in the last two budgets, and is he now prepared to agree that much of that was misdirected and overall was unaffordable for a country that has failed to grow as he projected?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, no. As we pointed out to the member a number of times, and he can verify through looking at the figures, the two tax packages that have been implemented by the National-led government have been fiscally neutral. In In fact, the latest estimates show that those tax packages will have the net effect of increasing tax revenue over the next few years. So the opposition's assertion that tax cuts have cost government revenue is simply wrong. Those changes were designed to change the incentives in the economy, and they certainly will have a long-run positive impact for the New Zealand economy.
Question number 3. The Honourable